Hey there, have you ever had the feeling that a woman might like you, but you just weren't sure? She didn't say it. She didn't make a move, but something felt different. The way she looked at you lingered around or smiled for a second too long. Here's the truth. When a woman is into you, she rarely tells you directly. Instead, she shows it in quiet, subtle ways, ways most men completely miss. In today's video, we're breaking down 5 subtle signs she's secretly into you based on real female psychology and evolutionary behavior. She's secretly into you. These aren't just random habits. These are patterns rooted in how women test for emotionality, confidence, and all without saying a word. We'll look at how she uses space-time attention and even small emotional tests to signal interest. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to respond with calm clarity. No overthinking or guessing. You've ever walked away from a conversation wondering, was she just being friendly or was there something more? Stay with me because once you learn to read these signs, your confidence changes, your relationships change, and if everything starts to make a lot more sense. Let's get into it. She creates opportunities. Number 1, she creates opportunities to around you subtly, but intentionally. Woman rarely walks up to a man and sees plainly, I like you. That's not how she creates opportunities. Interest expresses itself. Instead, it slips in like a soft, breezy throw. Small coincidences that aren't coincidences, suddenly at your usual coffee spat, though she never mentioned liking it before she lingers in conversation to you. Thought we're ending. She makes vague but open-ended plans like, we should hang out sometime without pushing for a date. These are not empty gestures. They are gentle invitations for men who expect directness. These moments are often all missed, but women don't approach love or desire in a straight line. They approach it with nuance when she creates opportunities to around you. Even if subtly, it often signals openness and a quiet hope that you'll read between the lines. Not every invitation will be loud. In fact, the softer it is, the more risk she's taking in her way. Because behind that casual smile, an offhand comment is a question. Will you notice? Will you step in with grounded attention or pass it off for snubbing? This isn't just flirtation, it's emotional reconnaissance. She's testing whether your awareness runs deeper than her face signals, whether you're present, whether your masculine frame can recognize a window of connection and dress without desperation. Most men miss the cue entirely or jump in too forcefully trying to secure certainty. But the real answer lies in acknowledging the energy she's offering without rushing to claim or explain it. The Stoics remind us that clarity begins with observation. When a woman shows up in your orbit more than once with no logical reason, when her presence extends past social politeness into genuine accuracy, when her words carry just now ambiguity to invite not being unclear, she's buying deliberate. She's offering you a quiet stitch to reveal how you operate. When theirs aren't spelled out, a woman's emotional intelligence is high. Shinatas's tone. She's offering you a quiet stitch changes and body language shifts, the way a hunter tracks wind patterns. If she's placing herself within reach of your attention, she's watching what you do with that gift. Will you remain grounded and calm, or will you lean too far forward? In neediness, the man who calmly mirrors her presence without pressure creates space for her desire to grow. It's easy to confuse a tutly with indecision, but subtlety is a form of emotional intelligence. It's how many women manage risk in romantic interactions. It protects her dignity while still expressing interest. If you learn to listen with more than just your ears to feel timing, body language, and consistency, you'll realize that many mixed signals are in mix at all. They're clear messages disguised as casual moments. Stan, who knows how to read those messages, doesn't chase, but also doesn't leap bolts out. Not because he plays games, but because he pays attention. He doesn't mean clarity. He dances with ambigu, earns trust through presence, not pressure. When she makes room in her world for you, she's inviting you to notice her intention without averting her boundaries. She's giving you a moment to respond, not just with words, but with understanding. And if you can do that with steadiness, grace shall feel safer. Opening that, she pays more attention to appearance door, even wider. She pays more attention to appearance. Number Twash pays more attention to her appearance when seeing you. There, remnants when a woman says nothing at a liar. Everything about her is speaking the subtle shine in her hair, the deliberate tetto of heels over sneakers, or the off of perfume that lingers as walks by. It's not a coincidence. These choices are random. When a woman pays more attention to how she looks in your presence, she's not just expressing self. She's expressing intent, and surely does this for someone who doesn't matter. Men often overlook this signal, misreading it as vanity or dismissing it entirely, but a man who understands for male psychology sees the deeper message. A woman's increased attention to her appearance, especially when it goes beyond what the setting demands, is not simply a bid for generic attention, is an invitation for connection. She's not trying to set a sail in the over-theatrical way pop culture often portrays. Rather, she is placing value in the interaction before it even begins. Her preparation is an emotional investment. She fixes her hair not because it's out of place, but because you're there. Shakuza's a dress that flatters her figure or not, because the day requires it, but because she's aware. You'll notice these aren't acts of desperation. They're quiet acts of hope in her world. Effort equals intention. When she makes herself more visible, more refined, she's extending a hand that says, "See me not just as I, awareness is more powerful am, but as I want to be seen by you." Stoic wisdom reminds us that awareness is more powerful than reaction. Calm man doesn't rush to flatter. He doesn't leap into nervous chatter. He observes, understands, and holds his ground. His presence isn't inflated by praise, nor is his attention given cheaply. He notices, but doesn't chase. And ironically, that restraint is what Makesha feel truly seen. Most women want a man who is discerning. Most women don't want a man who is captivated by every beautiful face. They want the man who is discerning. The man with gaze holds weight when you notice her efforts and meet them with steady, grounded energy, not approval-seeking behavior. You create an emotional feedback loop that deepens her attraction. You show her that while both is appreciated, it's not a tool for your manipulation. You are not dazzled by appearance alone, but you respect the intention behind it. There's a difference between flattery and recognition. Flattery is reactive. Recognition is deliberate. The manho quietly picks up on her S, or notices extra care she's put into her outfit without rushing to verbalize it. Creates a quiet tension, a space where attraction grows in the unspoken. In that space, Sheffield's seen, not judged, admired, note, objectified, and many men overlook this psychologically. 80 women rarely dress up just fourth mirror. She's putting in more effort when shadows. She see you sending a message. It may not be direct, but it is intentional. And your ability to read between the lines without losing composure speaks volumes about your maturity. So instead of asking for signs or waiting for bold gesture, paying attention to the subtleties, notice how her energy shifts around you and notice how she prepares for your presence. If she's making an effort to look at best, she's giving you something more than a compliment. She's showing you that you matter and how you respond or reveals the kind of man you are. She allows you into her personal space. Number 3, she allows you into her personal space naturally. You can learn a lot about woman, not by what she says, but by what she allows. When a woman starts to open the door to her personal space, emotionally or physically, it's never by accident. It's a subtle signal of trust, comfort, and deeper interested. Most men rush past or complete to share pieces of purpose that carry weight. She tells you stories about her childhood, her family, her wounds, and her wins. These aren't just casual anecdotes. They're quiet invitations into her interior world, places she doesn't offer to just anyone. She initiates conversations or replies to your messages promptly with warmth and energy. She's not just being polite. She's showing that you're on Herman, and that connection with you is not chore, but a desire. She may even allow physical closeness, a light touch on the holder, or a moment where she leans in during a shared laugh without withdrawing or tensing. That's not to be taken as permission for escalation, but for their assigned that she feels safe in your presence. Many men get this wrong. They interpret openness as a green light, accelerate to assume ownership or entitlement over feelings or body. But a woman's trust is not a pass. It's a pillig when she lowers her guard. It's not because she's weak. It's because emotional maturity. She's emotional maturity in you. Akin off. Masculinity that doesn't grab orsers but steadies and observes. This is where a Stoic mindset becomes essential. The Stoic man does not rush to claim her, cognizes that intimacy is not owed. It is earned through composure, consistency, and calm. When a woman begins to soft tea around you, the right response isn't to react, but to hold that moment gently. A yob come. A man who listens more than he lectures, who notices more than he's amassed. True closeness is never created through pressure. It is invited through presence. The man who understands this doesn't need to perform his emotional. Stillness speaks for itself. And in that stillness, a woman feels something rare. Freed dom to be fully herself without fear of being used or judged. These moments might not seem loud. They often come quietly in the way challenges after goodbye, and how Shamir is your posture without realizing too in the shift from guarded to open eyes. But they are real. And if you pay attention, they will tell you far more of in words ever could. Don't rush thin folding. A woman's true affection reveals itself not in how quickly she gives, but in how deeply she chooses. When she begins to let you in, it's not because you demanded her trust. It's because you became the kind of man who doesn't need to ask further. Emotions show subtly but genuinely. Number 4, her emotions show subtly but genuinely. In the world of male-female connection, most men search for certainty in words. They wait for a confession, a compliment, or a clear sign of interest. But women rarely express desire through direct statements. Instead, they reveal. If through subtle shifts in energy and unconscious signals, movements and moments that, while easy to miss, carry powerful meaning when observed consciously. Interested woman won't always tell you, but she might lean in a little closer when you speak. Her tone may rise light when she greets you or soften when she responds. Her laugh comes easier around you. Even when the joke doesn't land with anyone else, you may notice her glance at you when she thinks you're not paying attention. These are not random accidents. They're instinctive cues. Women are emotionally attuned and communicate technique through presence more than pronouncement. This is where many men go wrong. They overvalue the verbal and overlook the visceral. They analyze texts and conversations, but miss the tilt off her genuine behavior patterns body when she listens or the way her pupils dilate when she smiles. They ask, what did she say, instead of how did she show up? But feminine interest is more than felt and stated, and it doesn't come once it repeats itself. Set subtle, genuine behavior patterns are far more reliable than a single compliment or ament of flirtation from a grounded mindset. This makes sense. Woman who feels emotionally safe and attracted doesn't rush to declare it. She expresses through invitation note instruction. Her openness is shown in how often she finds a reason to stay near you, how her energy shifts when you enter a room, and whether she includes you in her gaze when the room grows quiet. These are the signs that reveal far more than words ever could. A man who is emotionally centered pays attention to these cues, not with desperation, but with discernment. He does not demand clarity from her mouth when her behavior has already spoken. He understands that genuine connection emerges in the patterns, not the exceptions. He listens with his eyes. He observes without you saying, and by doing so, he allows her to reveal herself without pressure or performance. Stoic insight reminds you that the truth lies in action, no intention. You cannot control what she says or whether she is bold enough to express herself openly, but you can watch, you can sense, and, most importantly, you can remain compass, letting her signals come to you rather than grasping for validation. A woman's attraction is not proven in a single minute. It is revealed over time through she subtly tests your emotional responses. A quiet consistency that rewards the patient and perceptive man. So if you notice her eyes linger longer than they should, or her voice softens when she speaks your name, don't dismiss it when she finds joy in your presence or seeks out small ways to stay connected. Pay attention. You're not imagining it. These are the whispers of attraction, and the man who knows how to listen to them without reacting too soon becomes the she feels safest opening up to. She subtly tests your emotional responses. Number 5, she subtly tests your emotional responses. It happens quietly, almost instantly. A question like, "Would you even care if it hung out with my ex?" slips into the conversation. A playful jab at your job or your outfit lands with a smirk. She casually mentions another man's 9 passing just enough to gauge your energy. And in that moment, a man is presented with a choice: either react in edible insecurity or remain grounded in divil strength. What many men fail to is that these small moments aren't designed to hurt or belittle them. They are instinctive ways a woman measures your emotional resilience and the depth of your self-trust. A woman who sly tests you isn't trying to pick a fight. She's trying to answer an unspoken question. Can I feel safe with you emotionally, whether she knows it consciously or not? These tests, rooted in biology and psychoevolutionary history. A woman's ability to survive and raise offspring depended heavily on her partner's emotional and mental stability. The man who fell apart under pressure wasn't a protector. The man who remained grounded, however, especially under social, emotional, or physical pressure, became a beacon of safety. This isn't about being stoic in the sense of stone-faced attachment. It's about having and she lightly provokes you internal calm that isn't shaking. By every gust of emotional wind, she lightly provokes you. She's looking to see if you're reactive or self-led. If you lose your composure at mention of another man or comments over a joke, what you're saying is, "My emotions are dependent on your behavior." And once she feels that equate, respect begins to dissolve. On the other hand, if you meet her test with lightness, calm voice, steady eye contact, maybe even a playful smile, you have sent a different message entirely. You show her that your center is not. For Sally, her emotions can move through the space between you without disrupting the structure of who you are, that your sense of self isn't up for negotiation. She might challenge your ego, but what she's showing for is to find your essence and to feel and unmoved. Take, for example, a woman who says, "I ran into my ex today. He looked good." Most men would either ignore it, awkwardly, act jealous, or pretend. They didn't care while stewing silently. But the self-possessed man might say, "Good for him. I like it when people take care of themselves and move on without a, she leans in emotionally." That isn't indifference, it's maturity. It tells her, "I know my value doesn't drop just because someone else exists." And when you respond like this consistently, Shen changes in the dynamic. She starts leaning in emotionally. Her defenses soften. Why? Because you've just proven again and again that you are her emotional anchor, not her emotion. I'll project these small emotional challenges not unique to dating. Either long-term relationships are filled with mints. When a woman will test your emotional boundaries, not out of spite, but out of a need to feel the continued presence of masculine intruder. The man who gets flustered over every mood, swings, sharp word, or subtle provocation loses ground. But the man who learns to navigate these waters, who neither overreacts nor disage boats, a form of silent admiration that words rarely express. This is the core of masculine emotional leadership. You don't control her, you don't try to fix her, and you don't panic when things get comfortable. You lead by presence, and presence is proven not when things are calm, but when they're not. Just like Ash's captain is only revealed in a storm, a man's emotional mastery is unreal. When he's tested, one of the most overlooked truths in modern relationships is that a woman's emotional tests are actually exopole. They're hopeful that you're different, hopeful that you'll remain when others fall apart, hopeful that the man sitting across from her isn't just a performer in the honeymoon phase, Pitoyan who lives in self-common. So the next time she says something that feels like a jab, don't flinch. Look deeper heart subtext beneath her words. Respond with calm confidence and maybe even a little humor. And above all, never verge of her control over your emotional state, because the moment you show her through her storms don't throw you off. Of course, she doesn't just feel attracted. She feels safe and safety, and the world of real intimacy is everything. So, as we've explored today, attraction doesn't always announce itself with loud gestures or dramatic words. Often, two most genuine signs are the quiet one, of subtle shifts in presence, tone, and energy that speak volumes if we're calm and grounded enough to notice them. Women be nature, and social experience of more attuned to emotion than confrontation means they express interest with nuance, not with a spotlight to understanding. These soft signals is not decoding a game. It's a boot, learning to slow down, observe, and connect more deeply. When a woman chooses to be near you, opens up space in her world for you, or those moments of emotional honesty to surface, she's not demanding anything, she's inviting something. That invitation is just about her interest. It's also about how well you can listen without forcing sense, without assuming, and without rushing. The more emotionally grounded and self-aware you become, the clearer these signals become, and the more likely you are to form meaningful, mutually respect relations. This isn't about outro chasing zings or reacting to every gesture. It's about showing up as a man who leads with calm strength, emotional clarity, and quiet confidence.